I have hundreds of self-harm scars. I'm meeting my long-lost brother and his two young children. My mother, not his mum, is disgusted because I considered not covering up. My mother made me ashamed of the scars I have. I have over 500 scars all over my body. At school, special school for troubled kids, I was forced to wear long sleeves or fishnet gloves. My mother sewn little holders in my shoulder-sleeved hoodies so I could clip the gloves up. I was a goth kid. If my mother's BF visited our house, I had to wear long sleeves. I was yelled at by teachers if I took them off without asking the other students' permission. My mother refused to let 14-year-old me meet her BF's 7-year-old daughter in case she saw the scars. So for years I hid them. I'm almost 23, and though I always cover my shoulders and legs, I won't cover my forearms. My mother nowadays won't try and manipulate or force me to cover up. I thought she'd got over the shame and embarrassment. My dad died when I was 12. I wasn't biologically related to 24-year-old Jay, but dad raised us both so we cared. After the funeral we lost contact. I got into contact with him recently. He has a 5-year-old and 2-year-old. He's desperate to meet me but can't due to COVID. When we discussed meeting, I said I was badly scarred and not to be offended if I wore a coat the entire time, as I didn't want to upset the kids. Jay said it was a part of me and he would carefully explain it to them age appropriately, and that I didn't have to hide myself. I told my mother this. She went ballistic, saying I'd caused the kids to follow the same path, traumatize them, etc. Said I shouldn't have said anything and just wore a long sleeves shirt when I planned to visit. I really need advice. Your mother's attitude is what paves that path of trauma. You teach a kid that others need to hide themselves to be around you, and they learn that maybe there's everyday things people won't be okay with about them. They'll learn that it's okay to maintain relationships with people that force them to hide themselves away because of others' shame. Having open dialogue, age-appropriate discussion, and accepting people's perceived flaws and all is healthy. I also think it helps kids to think on their own because they learn at a young age to challenge the societal norms. They are more open to give people a chance and give new things a chance instead of just relying on stereotypical thoughts to determine their response to stimuli. So they not only have healthier views of themselves, but I think they can develop healthier views of the world around them and less pessimistic views of people that are different than them. Your mother is wrong. If someone has scars from surgery or an accident, should they also cover it up around kids? I think it's actually an opportunity to teach those kids about compassion. Also, they're his kids, so it's not your mom's business at all. Absolutely a teaching opportunity. Perfect time to learn that those things don't say anything about who the person is. With your respectful brother there to provide context, his kids most likely will simply accept you as you, scars and all. Even if they ask about it, the 5-year-old might, the 2-year-old won't, probably. All it takes is you saying that you got hurt a long time ago and you are better now, but there were some marks left on your skin. That's about as much of an explanation as a 5-year-old really needs. Frankly, your scars are nothing to be ashamed of, and your mother's attitude is repulsively unhealthy, and I'm sure contributed to your mental health challenges. He had no place to comment then. Her place was to make sure you had a healthy environment and got help. Your school also significantly failed you. WTF. I'm impressed at your personal strength. You were dealt a combination of people who did not give you what you deserve, and you conquered despite them. I don't know you and I'm proud of you. Go and meet Jay and the kids without your mother, and take the opportunity to bond again. He seems like a compassionate and caring person, and everyone benefits from having more of those in their lives. And you rock the goth look, if you want, or a tank top if the mood takes you. Your brother's kids, so it's his choice. He seems cool with it, so I wouldn't worry about your mom being an ass. My boyfriend is mad at me because I got myself a vibrator. Throw away because I don't want my boyfriend to find out. 24F have been in a relationship with 23 meters for about 9 months, Sex is good, but I always have troubles climaxing. I have always had troubles climaxing during sex no matter what, so it's not like it's his fault or anything. Our sex life is good and I'm overall happy with it, but lately I really wanted to know what it feels like to have an orgasm since I have never had one in my entire life. So I go on Amazon, I buy the first vibrator that I thought looked good and used it when my BF was at work. I lay in bed, try to relax, and after I got in the mood I tried it on me, and after a little bit I felt like a strange sensation, like something was building up, and I finally for the first came. I literally couldn't stop shaking and crying after because I was so happy, and I couldn't wait to tell my BF because I thought he would be happy too. After he comes back for work I literally tell him what I just told you guys, and he starts throwing a tantrum and screaming about how I thought he wasn't enough and how shit I made him feel, and then he went on like this for the next 20 minutes just screaming and ranting very loudly. The night he wanted to sleep on the couch, and this morning he didn't even talk to me. Now I don't know what to do. Any idea on how to fix this? I need your help. Update: he came back from work and we talked. He apologized for freaking out and told me what I suspected. The fact that a piece of plastic could do a better job than him made him feel emasculated and worthless. He told me while sobbing that he will try harder, but for now he doesn't want me to use it. I don't know what to say at this point. I really love this man. I'll have to decide on what to do, I guess. Hi for the suggestions, BTW. I appreciate you all. 2 degrees and last update. I read a lot of comments so that we could have a better, more mature conversation and sex life. I told him that it wasn't necessarily his fault that a lot of women are going through this. I told that he wasn't useless or worthless, that the vibrator isn't a substitute of a lover etc. And since I read a lot of comments say that, and I think they're right, I told him that I'm not gonna stop using it for now and we can and should bring it into the bedroom and experiment a bit. He said that it was okay and then apologized once again for having been too immature, insecure for no reason. I'm literally so happy and that we could find a solution together like adults, and I'm also proud of myself for setting boundaries and standing my ground. Thank you all once again. Smile. Hopefully we'll manage to get my first toe together. You are dating a child. There are so many red flags here, it's unbelievable. You don't need to do anything to fix this. He needs to grow up and stop being selfish. You doing what you need to do is not a reflection on him and isn't a personal attack. If he sees it that way, then he needs to do some self-reflection to figure out why it feels like it is. A lot of women can't orgasm through penetration alone, so it's not a bad thing. If he stops acting childish, you guys could always try adding the vibrator to the bedroom, but I would be breaking up with him for this. Your update is no bueno. He was sobbing. His male ego is far too fragile for a relationship at this point. He was sobbing and said he would try to be better, but he's trying to make you fix his insecurity by enabling him and not using a very useful tool that helps you. Finally, orgasm. Keep the tool that helps you feel good and ditch the tool that screams at you. PSA, there are plenty of people who either won't mind that you use sex toys or will even gladly use one on you during foreplay/sex. I really love this man, bruh. He's 23 and threw a tantrum over you masturbating. That's not a man, that's a little boy with an unhealthy understanding of sex. Your boyfriend is a selfish, childish asshole. He should be happy and celebrating with you, not making you feel like shit. Have fun using your new toy. What a selfish baby your boyfriend is. I never came until I was 44. Tried vibrators but never got there. My husband bought me a magic wand. He encouraged me to use it when I just left it in the cupboard. It is amazing. He never gets offended when I go and get it before sex, or he goes and gets it so I don't have to leave the warm bed, because he wants me to enjoy myself. Intelligent men buy magic wands and go and get them for their partners before sex. Edit, changed real men to intelligent men as commenter below didn't like the term real men. My so was raped and her parents blame her. We live in a modern European country and are both in our early 20s. We both still live at home but have been together for a few years now. Her parents moved to this country as young adults from a more Eastern European country and therefore have very old, conservative views on life. against gay marriage, a bit xenophobic etc. Some time ago she met up with a friend she's known since school, who I have met before, and there was nothing odd about him, which makes what happened so hard to understand. They got drunk and he started touching her and didn't accept any of her no's at all and raped her that night. After that we reported it to the police and she had to make multiple statements and got a very thorough medical examination. All of this took an entire night. The day after we went to visit her parents, she wished for me to come along but to wait in her room at first while she told them about it on her own. She already had a bad gut feeling about this, because she knew her mother didn't approve of her visiting a male friend and therefore did not tell her that she was visiting him. Not like she has to anymore anyways. But as she was telling them about it, she obviously immediately teared up. Instead of consoling her, they started yelling at her. I told you, there is no friendship between men and women. This was to be expected. What did you think was going to happen if you meet up with a man alone and drink with them? What? After firing off these accusations, they started asking some questions about logical next steps. This whole conversation was completely devoid of any emotional support whatsoever. She then told them that she doesn't need any material support right now but emotional, with which her dad responded, well, then leave. She then left to her room where I was waiting crying. Her parents kept arguing with each other in the room, about who raised her wrong and how they should have been way stricter with her. Maybe then she wouldn't have visited a man alone. We then took a few things and went to my place. We stayed there for a week, in which her parents didn't reach out to her at all. Then we have had another discussion, where I was asked to come along, because she always feels helpless 2 versus 1 against her parents, especially her dad. This was also very disappointing, since they seem to have not changed their opinion at all. They still think she made a mistake visiting a friend, that she provoked him and that she should have expected that outcome. They also blame me and question my love for her, because I let her knowingly visit other guys/male friends alone. I am just in complete shock. Never would I have thought it's possible for parents to react this way after their child had just told them what terrible thing happened to them. I knew their opinion on a lot of things, but I always thought no matter what, their child has a higher priority than their outdated outlook on life. Their reaction has made this matter 10 times worse for my girlfriend. Considering all of that, my girlfriend still wishes for the relationship to be okay again. She wants the support of her parents. It feels like every discussion we have with them will go in the wrong direction. Instead of communicating that they are there for her and emotionally support her, they keep discussing those stupid ideas they have about relationships, friendships, and it feels like we are discussing politics. This is extremely exhausting for my girlfriend and I hate that she has to go through this. Even without her parents this is already so difficult. I write here because I am frustrated and would appreciate some experience from people here that maybe have had rough times with stubborn parents that are old-fashioned. Too long didn't read. My GF has been raped and her parents do not give emotional support. They do provide material support, but blame her and keep lecturing her. They also question our relationship because I let her see male friends. Some questions since I have read it in the rules. My girlfriend was very clear how she expected me to behave in these conversations. Me and both her parents. She gives me signs if she wants me to defend her or speak my mind, otherwise prefers me to listen, but I have to restrain myself often and would like to say more. 1. Do you think I support her too little with that? Should I maybe be less filtered? She has had 1 session with a therapist so far. He has told her that he would be okay to have a session with her and her parents. 2. Do you think that would be an option we should be adamant about? To her parents, her father does not believe in therapists, or could it be counterproductive? 3. I'd appreciate any experience with parents with a similar worldview and maybe background. Is it worth to just argue with them about those views over and over again? Or do you at one point just have to accept that your parents think it is your fault you were raped? Is that even something you can ignore/forgive? I know I probably could not, so it is probably even harder for her.